It's okay 'cause I'm strong, so God's love by His soul.
World Wide Web, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms. This is Jambo Radio! www.jamboradio.co.uk. We are multilingual. We are conversational in the languages you best understand. We are Jambo Radio! Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Hello. It's really good to be here this afternoon. This is Cathycee'S Book Club on Jambo Radio. Today, joining with me here, I have Color Queen. Hi, Color Queen.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me?
I'm sure Color Queen is trying to get online. Today, as we discuss. Hi, Color Queen.
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Not.
You can't hear-
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you. Would you, if you don't mind?
I've got my camera on. Hold on. You can hear me. Hold on. Let me. Can you see me and hear me now?
No, can't see you, but I can definitely hear you.
Right. Let me make sure. Okay. Right. Let me.
Okay, I think you are online. You are fine, Color Queen. Hello, how have you been?
Fantastic. Thank you. Fantastic.
Great. So today we are discussing, as we said last Saturday, we are doing the Atomic Habit by James Clear, and today we are looking at the chapter 12, 13, and 14. Hello, I can see you now.
Right, you can see me, and can you hear me as well?
Yes, 100%. I can. Great.
Wonderful.
How are you?
Absolutely wonderful, thank you. Glad to be here and
Yes,
really been enjoying reading the book.
Yeah, incredible. So today, as I said earlier, we are doing the chapter 12, 13, and 14. It's very exciting and interesting. But I have a question. Why are we inclined to easy things as humans? Why are we lazy?
I think it's just a natural thing that human beings are inclined to gravitate to things that are easy. So an example of that would be maybe somebody wanting a tasty supper, having all the ingredients at home, but then would ring Uber Eats because it's easier to do so. And I think it's maybe it's innate that we just want to kind of maximum reward, but for minimal amount of effort. So this is why it is easier for us to take the shorter route as opposed to developing a habit and doing it like the example I gave of the cooking. It's so much easier. Get on the phone, call Uber Eats, get the dinner in 10 minutes as opposed to preparing everything and waiting, cooking and having a tasty supper that you've cooked from scratch in an hour.
Yeah, that's an incredible example that you've stated. But the book mentions something that really stood out to me. I didn't know about that. It says that the brain wants to keep the energy. The brain is such that anything, any habit that will require a lot of energy doesn't want to do that, and so automatically he lead us into choosing the easier path. So there's some things here that the book mentions. He said the energy is precious and the brain is wired to conserving it by all means. So energy to the brain is so precious that it wouldn't want to use it. It wants to all the time conserve it. So like the example that you said the energy to cook from scratch is so much that the brain doesn't want to do that, and because of that he would encourage us purchasing online or eating from Uber Eats. Another thing they said it's naturally motivated to do what is easy. So there was a typical example where it says that when we are given two things to do, a little bit harder and very easy one, naturally will be inclined or will be gravitate towards the one that is easier. And I've come to understand that it's as a result of our brain, the way it is wired. I don't know, Kaloke, do you have anything to add to that?
Reading this book has made a lot of sense, especially coming from a parental perspective, raising and having 3 children. My oldest one is going to be 37 next month. And so we're ranging from 37 to 23. So now I had this understanding, which I didn't initially, that some of the things that you want your children to do for their own good and they don't actually want to do it, you're thinking as a parent that they're actually being lazy, but it's their brain preserving. Like, by an example, I've always taught my children that when we wash up, you drive the dishes away. Whereas my children, they only want to wash up. Whereas I wash up, taught them to wash up, dry away, and sweep the floors. That is the habit. But for them, their brain is saying, she's asked us to wash up, we'll do that, but we're not drying up, and we're not putting away, and we're not sweeping the floor. So of course there would be, we would be locking horn, because I would be then thinking that these children
lazy.
are lazy.
Yes.
But now the realization is that their brain is saying, well, we need to preserve some energy here, because you have to wash up, you have to dry up, you have to put away, and you have to sweep. That's too much energy. Whereas if you wash up, just let her be satisfied with that. So it's a really good understanding for me, and I'm really
that's very true what you've said. Another thing that the book said is that every action requires a certain amount of energy, like you said. So every action, whether it is moving from your bedroom to your bathroom, whether it is going for a walk, whether it is reading a book, whether it is learning a new language, all of that requires a certain amount of energy. And then until you are conscious of that fact, until you are aware of that and the importance of that to you, you wouldn't naturally, your brain wouldn't encourage you to do. And I think that's part of the reason why in the beginning of the year, people set up goals, they want to do a lot, they want to achieve a lot, and then just in the couple of days, they've given up, there's no motivation. That's really funny to me, but now, thankfully, this book has taught me that, naturally we are inclined to doing the easy things. Another thing that the book is teaching us to understand is that every habit is an obstacle to what you really want. And for me, that really stood out to me, to know that a habit is an obstacle to what you really want. So if I want to eat healthy, eating healthy, or the action that will lead me to eating healthy, it is an obstacle for me. Kaloke, do you want to add anything to that?
I 100% agree. So, like, by an example for myself, wanting to be healthy, wanting to get fit, to be in shape, the obstacle was, like, having to maybe get up a little bit early, making sure I go to bed on time, so that could be achieved at the end of the day. So this is what it's about it being able to be achieved. So this book has actually shown me that if you start small initially and make it's achievable. So many people at the beginning of the year, New Year's resolutions, they're going to give up, I don't know, chocolate, cigarettes, whatever. And it's such a massive thing because they've been smoking for maybe 10, 20, 25 years, 30 years. And so it's not that it's not achievable, but what they need to do it in increments. And then when they realize that they're not succeeding, they go back to their former habit. So definitely it's something that this book has shown us that, performing is really, it can be an obstacle, but when you know that you want the end result, like by an example, I speak another language, a couple of other languages, and the obstacle could have been at the time childcare for my son, but I overcame that obstacle and still went to the classes. Hence, that's why I speak multiple languages now.
Yeah, and it also says something about the fact that it is therefore important for us to make the habit, which is the obstacle, very easy. So in as much as the habit that we want to create, like you want to do push-ups or 100 push-ups every day. 100 push-ups every day is really hard work, and as far as it is a hard work, the brain will not give you that or the motivation to kind of do that. But what you want to do is to make that habit very easy, because as far as the brain thinks it is easy, it is going to give you the motivation to do that. So instead of saying, I wake up in the morning, I'm going to do 100 push-ups, you just say, I will do one push-up every 5 minutes. And the same way, if you want to be a reader and then you want to read a book, some people, I know it is some people's New Year's resolution to say that I want to read like 24 books in the whole year, which means that you're going to read 2 books in a month. But when you set that goal, your brain ceases to be a difficult task, and then you wouldn't have the motivation. So the book encourages that just tell yourself, I'm going to do 1 page a day, or I'm going to read 10 pages a day. And by so doing, you create the habit, as you said, Coloquin, and then the incremental basis comes on as your brain becomes familiar with it. Because remember, that is not something that your brain is used to. So you have to give it the platform to, first of all, see it as easy to do, and then as time goes on, you have the platform to do it in incremental basis. Yeah. So another thing that it says in the book was that in order for you to achieve, because first of all, we know that the brain doesn't want to give a lot of energy out. So what we have to learn is to do more with less effort. I don't know, Kaloke, do you have any example relating to doing more with less effort?
100%. By an example, I like line dancing, and when you're learning something like line dancing, the tutorial is only about 10 minutes. So the best thing to do is to do the tutorial in increments. So you just learn sections of the step. So if it's and line dancing is just a repeat. Once you've learned the initial steps, you go back round and you repeat the steps again to the end of the song. So what you do when you're learning something like line dance, you learn the first set of steps, and that might be for 3 minutes. So then you just work on that, and then maybe the next day you do the next set of steps. So what you're then doing inadvertently, your brain's thinking, well, she's only spending 5 minutes, so it becomes quite achievable. So every morning you get up, you learn a certain amount of steps, and then the next day you learn a certain amount of steps. So you've learned the step. And then the song probably is about 4 minutes. So then you can do maybe 3 rounds of 4 minutes if you want to. But because you're enjoying it so much, you might end up dancing the song for 10, 15 minutes and not realizing. So you're burning calories. You're also learning, you're learning the step, but you're having an amazing time. And your brain doesn't realize the benefit, but you can see that you're getting in shape, you're practicing mindfulness. It's so wonderful. So for me, like line dancing is a really good example. You do the tutorial in increment, then you start doing the steps in increments, and you put it together in increment, and then you do the whole dance in increment, and it's so achievable.
Yeah, thank you. Another thing that he mentioned was the fact that we should design our environment, as you said. And one of the strategies that he mentioned in the book was the Japanese lean production. So they realized that at a point they were making a lot of losses from their production. So they decided that they are going to create no waste production processes. And by so doing, what they did was by eliminating any friction that would lead to a wastage. So they created the environment in such a way that they would reduce as much as waste as possible. And by so doing, they were able to increase profit and then satisfy their customers. And for me, I think relating this to our lives is the fact that if you want to achieve more with less, then you have to take away the distractions. So the lean strategy is basically you taking away the distractions. Like if I go to work and I want to do a lot of work within a short period of time, I have to put my phone aside, because even though my phone is very important, but in that moment it is serving as a friction between my work and what I want to achieve. So you eliminate the friction, and then you are able to do a lot more. And then another example was a certain lady who all the time makes sure that her house or her room is set up at the state in which she finds it. So what she does is that whenever she finishes using a certain place, whether the kitchen or the bedroom or the dining table, she makes sure that that place is set in the way that it will make the next activity easier. So what the book mentioned, said that the environment design is crucial in making your habit easy. Optimize your environment to make your actions easy. Remove all points of friction from your environment. Remove those frictions that hold you back. And we know that in today's time, we have a lot of friction. I'm going to replace the friction with distractions. We have a lot of distraction, little things that we don't think that is going to impact on what we are trying to achieve, especially our phones, social media, and as far as you don't see it, as far as you are able to lock that friction away, you are free to do, and you can actually realize that 30 minutes is a long time. So I did a practical example of setting an alarm of 30 minutes and saying that I'm going to read for 30 minutes. I tell you honestly, I kept checking. I'm like, this is so long a time because I've put away my friction, my distraction, and because of that, I realized that even 30 minutes is long enough to do a lot of work. So yeah, Color Kid, I'll let you come in and add your voice to this.
Yeah, definitely. I am now beginning to understand why I wasn't able to maybe maintain particular habits over time, over certain epoch. And I think my phone was definitely a distraction because I would say get into my workout gear or my yoga gear, and then the phone would ring, and then somebody would be on the phone with a problem or a situation or a scenario, and all of a sudden what I had planned to do goes out of the window. So now I have a strict timetable for myself. Even going to bed, I have a particular time, a time to relax for meditation and this kind of thing. And I think once you formulate a really solid habit for yourself, you're less likely to be distracted. So I know that YouTube is a big distraction for me. And I know that I need to go to bed early. So what I do is I no longer bring the phone in the room. And if it is in the room, very rare, I don't go on YouTube anymore. That's taken time to formulate. And I can see the benefits of that because I need to go to bed early. So if I don't have the phone in the room, I'm not going to get tempted. So lights are out at 10. I get a good night's sleep. So the next morning, I can get up and I can do that little bit of exercise. And you also feel really good about yourself when you feel that you've honored yourself. You've made a pact, you've made a promise to yourself, and you're being your own accountability buddy, as it were, and you're patting yourself on the back and saying, look, well done, it wasn't easy. And I think the best time to do these things is when you really don't feel like doing them. On a cold winter morning, getting up to maybe do some exercise or do some reading before work. You feel like pulling the covers over your head. But when we do it and when we start seeing the benefits, the rewards, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you really have to have that tenacity and that enthusiasm to be living your best life and getting the best out of your life.
Thank you, Kalokin. That's really helpful. Another thing that he mentioned in the chapter 12 was the fact that make the habit fit into the flow of your life, whereby he mentioned that, let's say you want to cultivate the habit of doing an exercise and you want to register with a gym. The best way to do it is to register with a gym that is closer to your workplace, so that you know that it is the route that you take to your house. So definitely you get into the gym before you come to the house. But if you do it otherwise, whereby you get home before maybe you travel for the next 30 minutes or 20 minutes to your gym, it's going to be very hard and you are likely will not follow through that habit. So he said that in order for when we are creating any new habit, we have to try to embed it into our natural flow of life. So I think that's something that is helpful. We'll move on quickly to the chapter 13. So the chapter 13 talks about how to stop procrastination by using the 2-minute rule. So I'll give a brief introduction here. It says that research shows that 40 to 50% of our actions at any given time are done out of habit. Habits are automatic choices that influence the conscious decisions that follows. So there is a certain lady, she's Tyler Sharp. I think she's a choreographer, whereby she intentionally created that habit of waking up in the morning, going to the gym, doing her normal morning routine. And one of the things that she did was that she focused more on tying her shoes and then calling her cab, as in the entirety of the ritual or the exercise. So the 2-minute rule is the fact that start with a little thing. So if it is about going for a walk, let's say you want to go for 10-minute walk every morning, the first stage should be tying your shoes and walking out of your door. And the woman said that when you read the book, the woman said that for her, that the thing for her is whenever she sits in the taxi and tell the driver where she's heading to, that alone is a done deal for her, because she knows that as far as the driver is taking her to the gym, she would definitely perform her ritual. So, Carlo, do you want to come into this part?
Yeah, that is amazing, because the 2-minute rule builds the concept of breaking down habits into easy, manageable steps that only take a couple of minutes. So, like you were saying with the lady tying her shoelace, that was then going to be the ricochet effect for her to, by an example, do her workout. For me, with like my line dancing, by an example, I get up in the morning and I do my ovulation, and then I put on the music that I know that I'm going to be dancing to. So that I'm already in the mode. So by the time I come downstairs, I am ready. So that within itself, and if there is a day that I've not been able to do my line dancing for 3 or 5 minutes, because each song is only about 4 minutes. So the actual tutorials is 10 minutes. But when you're learning the steps, it might take 10 minutes each lesson. But the actual song itself, so you can just, even if you just do a line of dancing for 3 minutes a day, you will build up stamina over time. So this is why it's been successful for me with the line dancing, because each song is only 3 minutes. So you learn the steps, and then it's 3 minutes, and if I can't do any more, if I can't do another round, then I'm fine. But the mere fact that I've done a round of line dancing is absolutely phenomenal, and I'd like to be able to keep building that I could dance to do different line dances for an hour, and it be so beneficial. But right now, it's about just doing a 4-minute dance is phenomenal, and this book has really helped me cement that.
Yeah, that's really true. Another thing that the book said, and so for me, I can even relate this 2-minute rule to myself. I started doing this run that I do almost every day. But I realized that whenever I'm doing that, there's a particular person that I listen to with my headset on. So yesterday, something funny happened, whereby my time to go for my run wasn't up. But immediately I put that person that I listened to on. Instantaneously, I had a desire to go for a run, because that had been my 2-minute rule. I couldn't resist it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to get it. I'm going to go for a run and get it done with. And I put on my running dress and I left. And I realized that, yes, so the brain, as we are saying, when that 2-minute rule has been built consistently, whenever you issue in that particular rule, whether it is just lacing your shoes, or it is just putting on a certain music, or it is just putting off your light, that sets the habit environment ready for the action to be taken. So it says that habits are entrance ramp to a highway. They lead you on a path, and before you know it, you are aware, you are speeding towards the next behavior. So it's saying that habits are not the end in themselves, but they are the entirety of the whole of your whole being, to say. Example, if let's say you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is to go on your phone, By the time you realize, you are on Instagram, you are on Facebook, and it will continue like that. But if also when you wake up in the morning, the next thing you do, let's say do your meditation, read a couple of pages, do an exercise, so that is also the habit that is built. So habit lead you into a certain pathway. And for me, as I said last time, it is very important that the kind of things that we teach our brains to do, because if we don't, our brain all the time will automatically pick up some habit for us. As you said, if you've not consciously built in those morning routines, the brain will create one for you, and one that is easier, one that is convenient, and at the end of the day, it will be leading you onto a pathway that you didn't intend to be.
100%. One of the things that I promised myself that I'd be doing from the beginning of the year since we started reading the book was not reaching for my phone and scrolling through messages and emails. So in that time, I have my Daily Bread app, which I get a prayer and some scriptures to read, but also it's the time that I commune with my God, and it's that meditation time. So that actually sets me up for the day. And then when I go to the bathroom, I do my hair, and then that then leads on to my exercise. But if I miss a step, so it's a little bit like a production line. You would not, if you're manufacturing a toy, a children's toy, and there's a 3-step production before the toy goes into the box. If you miss a step, it won't go into the box to be sold. So it's almost like a conveyor belt to a certain degree. So one action leads to a next and then to a next. So for me, it's my meditation, my communion with God, my prayers, and then I get up, I use the bathroom, do my hair, because I believe you need to be in gear to get into gear. So I feel you need to have the appropriate, you can't try to learn line dancing in your dressing gown.
Yep.
So the minute you put on the appropriate attire, and then go down, then you do your dancing. So you can see that habit that has been formulated is a really positive one. And there has been a couple of mornings whereby I've skipped the meditation and skipped the hair and thought that it would be easy to do the dancing. I had to go back on myself and do the meditating, and then you do the bathroom, to do my hair, and then go down and do my line dancing. So each step that
leads you to a pathway. Yeah,
led
definitely.
to a pathway, and
Yes.
a very good habit.
Will lead you, a very good habit will lead you to a very good destinations, and the opposite is also true. And that's why we are here. This is Cathycee'S Book Club on Jambo Radio. We read different kinds of literatures. We put the lessons we try as much as we can to put the lessons in practice, and we meet also in group virtually to discuss more pages and more interactive part. So the next part on the chapter 13 was the fact that why are we tempted to start big? Color Queen, you spoke about that, so I'm just going to read or list the point that I've created here. So the excitement of starting something new all the time leads us into starting something that we cannot finish because we have not put in the time to create a very good habit pathway. The most effective way is to use the 2-minute rule, as we've all spoken about. Yes, so I'm going to move straight to, because we've said everything here, we'll move straight to the chapter 14. So the chapter 14 talks about how to make habit inevitable and bad habit impossible. And this chapter starts with a story of a French writer who was really faced with a deadline, a critical deadline, that his publisher had asked him to use just 6 months to write an entire book. And as you know, he was really in a fix. Using 6 months to write a whole book is a lot of work. So what he did was he made his assistant lock all his books, his clothing away, and then he was just left with a big shawl. That means that he cannot go out because he got no clothes to wear. And that led him to finish the book 2 weeks earlier. So this was a habit, a strategy that he used. And psychology, they call this strategy making. So the book says that you have to make the habit difficult, or the bad habit difficult to do. And then psychology calls that part the commitment device. So before I go on, Color Queen, you want to
commitment
come
device. The commitment device is really absolutely phenomenal, because there is the example of, like, by an example, savings. If we feel that we want to save, we can then maybe set up a payment plan. So that's a one-off kind of situational scenario. But if I know, by an example, that I want to save and I don't want to go to the restaurant, I won't have too much money on my card. I will say, right, I'll have £10 cash, or a better example is I'm going on a family fun day out with some friends or something like that, and I know that I'm saving for specific items. I will only bring £10 cash with me, or £10 on my card, and leave the credit cards at home, knowing to myself that that's the commitment I'm going to make. So therefore, I know I'm not going to spend any more money than that, and that is very habit forming. So I remember when I was growing up, and I used to go shopping with my mum, and I'd have X amount to spend when I was married, and I'd always fold up a £5 or £10 note. And she said to me, "But you always do that. Why do you always do?" And I said to her, "Because I don't feel that I want to spend every single penny when I go out." And it's a habit that I have to this day. That if I've got £200 to go clothes shopping, I will make sure that I will get £5 and fold it up and put it away, just as a principle, as not to spend everything. And that habit I've had since I was a teenager.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really, really good. Yeah, I think the commitment device. Hello. So with me in the studio is Kelvin. So Kelvin is also a part of us. Hi, Kelvin. Would you want to say hello to our listeners?
Hello to everyone. I hope everyone is doing well.
Yeah, thank you. So Kelvin is here with me in the studio this afternoon. So the next thing that we will look at in the chapter 14 was a commitment device strategy. As we said, the commitment device strategy, I think, is a really good strategy, Color Queen. As you said, in order for you not to use your entire money, you decide to fold a $5 or $10 away. And it says that the commitment device plan is the choice you make in the present that controls your action in the future. So the choice we make in the present that will control our action. So it's not that you won't get to spend the £5, but you want to get to spend it in the future. So it kind of, so with the writer, his example was not that he would never go out again, but the fact that he had something that needed to be done. And as far as that thing was done, and that was done with, he now opened his wardrobe, and he could still go out. He was able to go out and then have fun with his friends. So he says that this is a way you lock in future behavior. So the future behavior was him preventing himself from going to partying with his friends, whilst he knew that he had to write that book. So it's a way of you locking away your behavior, so that you can enjoy that in the future. And another thing is that intentionally living your, so the example that Color Queen you said is so very much relatable, because there was some examples that he mentioned whereby he says that if you want to maybe eat healthy, and maybe you are going out with friends, what you have to do is to lock your wallet away, so that when you go, you won't end up buying fast food. You come back home and prepare good food. Another thing he said is, this is my example, whereby I set the screen time, so that I know that at this time every app on my phone is off, so that I can not that I wouldn't open those apps again, but within that moment I need them to be off, so that I can focus on other work. The other thing was to reduce overeating. So if you want to reduce overeating, you intentionally buy small packs instead of buying a bigger pack with a lot of food in it. By getting a smaller pack, you'll be forced to eat that. Color Queen, do you want to add anything, or
Yes,
Kelvin, do you want
definitely, I do. If it comes to food, by an example, I have various different dinner plates at my home, but I eat on a particular dinner plate, which is more like it's a smaller plate, which means there's less food on there.
Yep.
So you have your little meat or fish or veg, but and I've eaten on that plate for years, and I find that sometimes when you eat you serve on a bigger plate, you serve too much food and you don't need as much food. So I eat on a slightly smaller plate, which also is very good for me holistically, and also as well keeps the weight down. But also as well, you don't need to be greedy, because you just don't need to be. So having a slightly smaller plate can help you manage the portions better.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, another thing that the chapter 14 touched on was make habit automatic, which I think is really important. And we have technology. Yeah, technology can work for our good and our bad as well, but we have to choose in how we are going to use it, and in certain habit automatic, so that we don't have to put in the work that if a technology can help me do that. So some of the examples that he mentioned was the fact that you can set automatic savings, so that before your salary comes in, they had already deducted your savings. Maybe set automatic payment of bills, set automatic. There was one lady in the book who said he made automatic disconnection of his wire from all the things in the house, so that as soon as it is 10 o'clock, the internet goes off, and then the TV goes off, everybody's phones goes off, and they all know that it is time to go to bed. And I think that was a really good habit, because that you don't have any choice. It is telling you that it's time to go to bed, and you have to go to bed. Yeah, so making the habit so practical, making the good habit practical and the bad one impracticable would help us achieve the things that we want to do. So it says that automatic savings, screen time, water filter. If you want to have a clean drinking water, get yourself a water filter machine, and it will do the job for you. Buy a good mattress if you don't want to experience any back pain. When you automatically make things possible for you, the bad habit would also leave, and then you will build good habit.
That is 100%. I found, maybe because I've been mothering for like so many years, and getting up really, really early, I never was able to have a lie-in. And so over years, I decided, right, I'm going to get a really good mattress so that my bed is really comfortable, so that I can afford to have that lie-in. So if I have a good night's sleep, I'm then able to carry out the things that I need to do, especially the new habits that I'm formulating.
I can hear you, but the green light is flashing, and I can't hear Color Queen.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I haven't touched anything.
No, Color
Can you
Queen.
hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was just saying about for many years I wasn't able to have a lie-in because I was raising children. So I then decided to get myself a really lovely bed, lovely mattress, which gives me the incentive to have a lie-in when I need to, and still carry out my day. And as you pointed out, if you don't want to have back pain, you need to have a good night's sleep. It's important.
It's very important, and the automatic part is really good. Technology can help us do a lot of good habits automatically, and then eliminate the bad habit from it. So in wrapping up, there are some few takeaways that I've listed. I mean, if we didn't take anything in today's discussion, we know that we have to remove every friction that saps our energy and saps our time. So if you want to have a productive life or have a good habit, remove those frictions that will prevent you from achieving those good habits. And also let us make technology work for our good. And then also, whenever you organize a space for its intended purpose, you are priming it to make the next habit or the next action easy. The next one is to, if you can't learn the basic skills of showing up, then you will have a little hope as mastering the finest details. As we said, this has to do with the 2-minute rule, whereby you just have to begin with a little step, and that will, if you are not willing to show up, showing up is the least you can do when you want to create a new habit. If you don't show up, then whatever habit you intend to create, then definitely you are not willing to grow in or make the changes that you desire. Also, it is better to do less than to do nothing at all, and this had to do with the 2-minute rule. So if you are someone that wants to stop smoking, maybe you smoke a whole pack a day, and you want to say, I want to quit. I mean, it will be so hard, but it is better for you to start by reducing the number of stick or whatever they call it that you take in a day, and then gradually you will eliminate that bad habit totally. So, Color Queen, I would want to hear your last word, and then we'll call it a day.
My encouragement for today would be to get up, dress up, and show up for your day. You know, be faithful to you, show up for your day, and in that you're able to continue developing really good habits and breaking bad habits.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is Cathycee'S Book Club on Jambo Radio. We have our usual meetings apart from coming on the radio show. So if you are interested in reading different kinds of book and learning from group book members, also hearing from your experience that would impact other people's life on the book club, you are free to join us. You can send us an email on cathycee'sbookclub@gmail.com, or you can send us an email or a message through Jambo Radio, and they will get to us. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time talking to you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mama Sheba, come back on. Make me the start to the paragon. Start to the halagon. Cause you know say my people they calagon.